Breaking tonight, Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen is introducing a resolution to issue a formal Senate condemnation of Donald Trump for reportedly seeking $230 million from the Justice Department for the past investigations into him. Senator Rosen is aiming to bring up the resolution as a unanimous consent request as early as tomorrow. And Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen of Nevada joins us now.
It is so good to have you at the table. Yes. Thank you so much. So there are multiple outrageous pieces to this. The first outrageous piece is the request from the president to his own Department of Justice. The second potential outrageous piece is that if you talk to anyone who ordinarily brings this type of effort forward, they say DOJ never goes for this without a lawsuit being involved. They don't clear it. So if his own DOJ were to say, you know what, you're right, here's $230 million, thank you so much, that will be outrageous. And then if we were to somehow end up in the third step of this, where he was instead bringing a lawsuit against his own Department of Justice, that would be outrageous. So there really is no outcome here that feels all on the up and up.
Well, there's so many things wrong with this, but it's essentially, for the viewers at home, it is the fox guarding the hen house. Because here he is, it's his own DOJ. His feelings were hurt. So he's going to sue himself, and he's going to have the taxpayer, who he's fixed absolutely nothing for, he's going to have the taxpayer pay him almost $250 million because his feelings were hurt as president. So who does he decide to sue next week? What does he decide to do? So I put this resolution forward because I can tell you, whether it's this president or any others, no one should be suing and taking hard-earned taxpayer dollars to line their own pockets, number one. So who will stand up for this against the president? My Republican colleagues, you're about to find out tomorrow on unanimous consent. One Republican is on what they call the hotline now. One Republican can object. Let's see who they send to the firing line tomorrow and how they defend this. And I'm sure it's not the end of us talking about it. And I'll be damned if I can look at people when I go to the market and the price of everything is up. Donald Trump has just written himself a check. He laughs. Isn't this cute? It is not cute.
My feelings are hurt all the time, Michael.
Oh, mine stay hurt too. Particularly when
government's not writing you a check for $250 million for that.
But not only is the president asking for the government to pay him $230 million, and I appreciate the fact that you've put something on the table to kind of call the Republicans out on that, as well as the president. But then the other side of that coin is you have the president stripping bare, destroying, tearing down, whatever words you want to use, the East Wing, and building this monstrosity that is going to be bigger than the actual footprint of the White House itself, using private money. All right, supposedly private money. So where is the oversight here? Where's the emoluments clause? This president is seeking benefit directly for himself and at the same time getting side benefits from others. Because, you know, I'm sorry, big corporations aren't writing a big check to Donald Trump just because they like the color of his hair or they like the size of his pants. What they're doing is they're writing that check for a reason.
That's right, because they want access.
And they want access.
This is a clear violation of the Hatch Act. It's one thing if you have a presidential library or other things where you raise into a fund for that. But first of all, this is the White House. He did not go through any review. He tore down the entire East Wing. He frankly lied to us. He lies to us every single day. The worst part of all of this is that my Republican colleagues, now we can say, we know that Speaker Johnson, well, he's no more Speaker Johnson because the president has declared himself President and Speaker of the House. Yes. Leader Thune not far behind. So I'm really tired of my colleagues in the Senate behind the scenes going, Lord help us all, how can this happen? We don't like him either, whatever they say. Let them finally stand up for what is right and what is American. I walked today, into the Capitol, and we go vote. You walk up the porte cochere, and above the transom, it's beautiful ironwork, and it says U.S. on it. Well, U.S. for United States, but for us, it is for us. All of this, whether it's health care, whether it's tariffs, lowering prices for everyday people, affordable housing. The White House is the people's house, not his house. The DOJ is the People's Department of Justice, not his personal law firm to do what he wants and then rob the American taxpayer. And so when we think of everything that Donald Trump does, he does it just for a party of one. It's for him, not for us. And I'm tired of my colleagues not standing up for what is right.
Can I do a quick follow-up on that? So will the donors who wrote the checks, companies that we know and brands that we're well aware of, will they be held accountable on the back end? Because this White House is not going to give it. But if you guys get access to that information, are there going to be public hearings and disclosures on who wrote checks, how much, and what they got for it?
I can tell you it is our job in the House and the Senate, in the Congress, to be sure that we do oversight. We see this administration firing inspector generals, tearing down anybody who could take a look at anything. You see them closing websites. You see them making blatant lies. You see them, I'll tell you this about SNAP that is about to expire. In September, USDA had a beautiful website up there. They said they were going to talk about how they could move money around. They could make sure that people who are food insecure in this country could continue to receive their benefits. That's all gone.
So Republicans say it's on Democrats to get the U.S. government back open. So what will it take to get things moving again?
Well, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And from the very beginning of this year, they've adopted a my way or the highway approach and continue to try and jam their right-wing ideology down the throats of the American people, including when they passed the one big ugly bill, which had in it a $186 billion cut to nutritional assistance, the largest SNAP cut in American history, and they did that so they could reward their billionaire donors. Our view as Democrats is that we want to sit down with anyone, anytime, any place, either at the Capitol or back at the White House, to reopen the government, to enact a bipartisan spending agreement that actually meets the needs of the American people, while at the same time decisively addressing the Republican health care crisis that is crushing the American people.
When's the last time you or anyone has reached out to Speaker Johnson or other Republicans to say, let's sit down at the table, let's talk, whether it be on Capitol Hill or at the White House?
Well, earlier in the week, Leader Schumer and I reached out directly to the White House requesting a meeting with Donald Trump before he went back out of the country as we approached now day 26 of the Trump Republican shutdown. Of course, Donald Trump indicated he had no interest in sitting down with Democrats, and that, in fact, has been the case for the last 26 days while the government has been shut down, while services are not being provided to our taxpayers, and while hardworking federal employees are being furloughed or forced to work without pay. Donald Trump has had zero interest in spending any time to try to get a resolution. They made the decision to shut down the government, and now they are continuing to inflict pain on the American people.
Is there another way that lawmakers on Capitol Hill, both sides, all sides, can talk without the president's involvement? After all, citizens do expect that there should be negotiations, discussions when talking about legislation, bills, remedies, any or all of these things, especially with the U.S. government not in operation at stake.
Yeah, part of the problem is that House Republicans have canceled votes now for 5 consecutive weeks. They literally have been on vacation, receiving a paycheck while forcing others to work without pay. A starting point would be Speaker Johnson actually bringing House Republicans back to Congress so we can actually function as a body and work toward enacting a bipartisan resolution and a spending bill that meets the needs of the American people. Now, we've also said as House Democrats that we will consider anything in good faith that emerges from the Senate in a bipartisan way that reopens the government, that spends taxpayer dollars in a way that makes their life better, and that, of course, addresses the health care crisis, including by extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits so that tens of millions of people all across the...
You could see the Senate is already mobilizing against Trump's 230... Like, he's got the big budget bill, but his new budget bill is give me money for my budget, right? This $230 million thing. And a lot of Republicans are in opposition to this. I really do think that this is going to struggle because it's so blatant. And as people have noted, Trump was never even like falsely convicted, and the charges were never dropped against him with malicious prosecution, right? Normally, if you're going to get compensated by a government for charges against you, usually you have to demonstrate far more than they didn't convict you. Plenty of examples have been given of like the people locked up for like a crime they didn't commit for decades. And even then, in some cases, they don't get compensation, right? And that stole, decades of their life. Like, you can't even really put a price on that. We're not just talking about legal fees here. We're talking about you lost your freedom. Trump never spent a day in jail, right? He, I guess, took a mugshot, but that was at the state level in Atlanta, in Georgia. I can't imagine he would have anything here. And the charges against him, while they were dropped because he became president again, in the one case he had, there was a conviction in New York. And the charges were never dropped by a judge, saying that not only do I drop the charges, but it was a malicious case against you. That never happened. And so he was treated, I think, pretty fairly. And now he wants $230 million. It's absurd. It's absurd. That never happens. And as Trump himself said, stupidly from him, that it's a total conflict of interest. I'm the one that gets to decide, is basically what he said. So this is going nowhere, and you connect it to the general budget bill. Trump's making a bigger priority of getting $250 million for himself from this new budget bill than he is about your health care and your access to food stamps and things like that, should you need those things. That is vile.